When I think back over the 20 years that I've been the director of Human Rights Watch, the 25 plus years that I've been with the organization, there have been enormous changes in the world. And there's no avoiding that these standards have come to matter. And they matter because, frankly, the human rights movement has become a genuinely global movement. As the pressure to respect human rights really does come from every quarter, from every region of the world, that genuine globalness is going to add further strength to the movement, further ability to intensify the pressure on governments and raise the cost of human rights abuse. And ultimately, that's how we'll gain greater, more consistent respect for basic rights. I came to the human rights movement very much through the experience of my father, who actually fled Nazi Germany as a young boy. And I learned about his experience when I myself was a young boy, mainly when my father would cut our hair. He cut mine and my brother's hair in the bathroom, and to keep us quiet, he would tell us stories about growing up in Germany. And when we were little, they were funny stories about the horse that my grandfather's butcher shop used to deliver the meat. But as we got older, they were stories about the Nazis and what it was like to be a young Jewish boy who was put into a segregated school and who was worried about being arrested and just, the danger of life under the Nazis. What I find when I describe human rights issues is it's not enough to just say, oh, there are terrible things happening here, or there's a terrible dictator there. What really moves people is stories about how we change things. And people need to hear those stories because it's not intuitive how you move a dictatorship on the other side of the world, how you curtail communal violence in a distant country. And to explain the steps, how information is collected, how it's deployed, how pressure is generated, how ultimately the target government responds. When people see that process and they see that it's possible to make a difference, it's possible for people to band together and in fact move a government on the other side of the world, that's when they get energized, that's when they see that their own personal contribution matters, and that's when we have a stronger human rights movement. Perhaps the most important new technological contribution to the human rights movement has been the emergence of social media. I actually think that the revolutionary shift made possible by social media is how easy it now is for anybody to contribute to the human rights movement by themselves recording and disseminating information. It's possible to make a difference in the world. It's possible to make a difference even in some of the most difficult circumstances if you get the facts right and if you deploy those facts in a way that can generate tough, targeted pressure on the governments that matter. And while it's true that no single individual on his or her own can move things, when we join together, we can. And that's really been the lesson of the human rights movement. That alone we may be powerless, but together we have enormous clout, and we can move governments by banding together.